We are continuing to celebrate National Georgia Day with little known facts about our state, brought to you by, well, Miss Trivia herself, Miss Factoid herself. All right, Cara, I don't know. I was trying to give you a really fun title, but you have some interesting stories about our state. I can't wait to dive in. Let's do it. Let's do this thing.
I do. There was such a list online that we had to compile it down to just a few, but if this piques your interest, you can find a whole query of things right on the World Wide Web. So check those out too. All right, this first one is something you may not have known. Georgia is actually home to a tree that owns itself. Okay, let me explain. There is a tree in Athens, Georgia that literally owns itself, okay, and an 8-foot radius of land around it. Professor William Jackson deeded the tree to the land in the early 19th century to save itself from development. That tree blew down in the 1940s, but it was replaced with a new one from one of the original acorns. Who knew? Now you know.
Interesting. It owns itself. Wow, Cara. Now I want to see this tree. I'm going to make a road trip to Athens. Yes. I love that one.
I think there is, I've read somewhere that they have actually studied parts of this tree and classes at the University of Georgia. Let me know if you were in one of those classes. I'd be curious to hear more about it. All right, the second one is, maybe you perhaps knew this, it's a legendary place right here in Midtown Atlanta. We are home to the world's largest drive-in restaurant. I'm talking about the Varsity. It was originally established in 1928 across from Georgia Tech, but later was moved to its current location on North Avenue. The restaurant, covering 2 city blocks, features a multi-level car park that can accommodate 600 cars, classroom-style seating inside. It serves an average of 15,000 people a day. And here's another fun fact. It serves more Coca-Cola than any restaurant in the world. I just had to double check my notes because I didn't know if it was a fast food establishment, but any other restaurant in the world. I guess when you're serving 15,000 people a day, that's easy to do. Wow.
And also, I mean, let's face it, Varsity, their food just calls for ice cold Coca-Cola to wash it all down. Okay, by the way, quick trivia. I've only been there 3 times in my 15 years. Just 3. I know, it's kind of weird.
Nice.
You know what? I'm going to go right after this show.
My husband has...
I'm going to go.
Well, now we've piqued your interest. My husband has very fond memories of going there with his grandfather when he was little because his grandfather lived in Smyrna. Anyway, sidebar. So he was telling me all about it before we even moved here.
Cute.
Along with some other historic landmarks. But one of them now is not so much a landmark, but something that is interesting to our great state. It is a New Year's Possum Drop. Have you heard of it? Let me tell you about it. All right, in Tallapoosa, Georgia, which is on the Alabama-Georgia line, it hosts arguably the state's most interesting ball drop to ring into midnight. Since 2000, a stuffed possum named Spencer after Ralph Spencer, one of the town's businessmen. That's why he's named that. He founded the town. The New Year's Eve tradition has since grown to about from 40 people to over 7,000. It's a huge celebration, more than twice the population of that town. Now, Mr. Ralph Spencer, the person, not to be confused with Spencer the possum or with Pogo the possum, who is the official possum of the state of Georgia. Did you know that? Pogo is a friendly cartoon, a swamp critter, if you will, and he comments wryly on politics and other commentary. Yeah, Pogo the possum. I didn't know that either. Learning.
Cara, you are blowing my mind right now. I mean, I am going to have so much material for my next gathering. I'm dropping knowledge everywhere, Georgia knowledge. Okay, we have time for one more.
I can't wait. Well, when the social distancing is over, I know where we're going for New Year's Eve next year. 7,002 people in attendance, 2021. Happy New Year. All right, this next one is the Georgia Guidestones. This is considered the Stonehenge of Georgia, the Stonehenge of the South. They're made of local granite. They were commissioned in 1980 by a mysterious stranger. It contains words of advice in a dozen or so languages and is rumored to have a time capsule underneath. I love a time capsule. I love large chunks of granite.
Me
and
too.
I love the great state of Georgia. All right, Christine. That's all we need to know. That's all you need to know.
I do too, Cara. I do too. This has been such a fun celebration. In fact, I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A and get a peach milkshake to cap off this amazing celebration. Thank you, Cara Kneer. Thank you. Thank you. I loved all that trivia.